Hello and welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to do another board game unboxing. Today we're going to do an oldie but goodie by Rosenberg. This is 2007's Agricola, and this is the Revised Edition. So it's changed quite a well, not as far as gameplay goes, but as far as like content and cards and things like that, and quality of the meeples and everything. It is in artwork. It is improved in this version of it. I'm not sure exactly what year. I think 2016 or 17 this came out, but we'll check it out. But this won many awards. Was #1 in Board Game Geek for a number of years, and is still in the top 50 on the Board Game Geek, which is pretty impressive for a game that's 14 years old. But this is basically what got Lee Rosenberg on the map. Inspired a lot of his later games, such as Caverna, Feast for Odin, Newsford, as well as Orin Labor and many others, Glass Road, and that the list goes on. But anyway, this is a game I've had for a while in my collection. I just haven't opened it up yet, and been playing a lot of it recently online and watching some solo playthroughs of it, and decided it was about time I opened this up, since it's getting into the winter months here, and it'll be a good solo game as well as a good, nice, tight multiplayer game. Tight solo game also. But anyway, without further ado, let's open it up and check out what's inside. So as you can see above here, it says wooden animals now, and revised edition. All right, so it's a game for 1 to 4 players, 5 to 6 players if you get the expansion, and 12 plus is its recommended age group. All right, so how much you can read of that. I'll just read some of it. So it's the 12th century, not an easy period for a farmer. Players start the game with 2 family members living in a two-room wooden house. In each round, each player of their family may choose one action. If they collect wood and read, they can extend their house and then add to their family. Family growth allows additional actions, but has a disadvantage of more food must be produced. So it's, again, this is basically what started Lee Rosenberg games as feed your people, having the mechanism of feeding your people. If not, you get a penalty. All right. And to get food, the players plow fields and place seeds. The planted grain and vegetables are harvested during the harvest, when the animals breed as well. To raise the animals, pastures must be fenced to allow sheep, so you have to have fenced-in areas, and wild boar and cattle to graze. Occupations or improvements, those are in the cards, can ensure that a family's upkeep. Each of these cards allows the player a small advantage in the game. So points are carried out when players renovate their wooden house to a clay house, and later to a stone house. But everything else must do with balancing food requirements and making everyday life a little more comfortable can earn points, especially family growth. So you want to do things in balance, pretty much. This game rewards balance. Because if you're missing stuff, you're going to get negative points. Each game has a different group of the 48 different occupation cards with 58 different improvements. Now, the original game had a lot, even probably at least double that much or close to double that much. But you can get other cards through expansion decks too, ensuring that no 2 games are exactly alike. The reworked edition of the internationally acclaimed strategy board game. Animeeples, Vegemeeples, and more. So those are the wooden pieces, which are no longer just cubes and circles. They're they actually have shapes to them. Anyways, by Lookout Games, and let's see when this edition was. Let's see, 2018. Actually, this edition was made, the revised edition. So 11 years after the game came out. And it had other editions too in between. This is the revised edition. All right. So here we go. See if we get any box fart. Nope, not much. Not much for box fart. All right, so let's see what's inside here. Jam-packed with all kinds of meeples. So it has the rule book here, which is 12 pages, not too bad. Made for Games, 2016 Lookout is when this rule book was produced. So all the components here, and then your improvements, occupations, game board and action pieces, room and field tiles, and there's your player board right there, which you have to put your pastures and houses and fields and all that good stuff on there. Okay, and then improvement cards and occupations down below here. And then your course of play, just pretty spelled out pretty well. And then animal breeding. So you have to breed evenly. And again, if you don't have a certain type of animal, at the end of the game, you're going to lose points. And you can put stables in there to increase how much each area can hold for the animals. And then how to grow the crops, the harvest time, which you'll be doing a lot of harvesting. Major improvements, and of course, hand cards and minor improvements. And usually you do a draft for the cards, but in a solo game, I think you deal out 10 cards of each, and then you pick 7 of those 10 cards to kind of simulate a little bit of a draft. And then starting player, game end and winner, number of components, and the solo game. So it explains how the solo game works. All right, so that is the rule book. And then you have your appendix, which has all the cards in it, I believe. Yeah, efficient replenishing. So some tips and stuff. Major improvements. Anatomy of a card. Occupation and minor improvements. And then different types of cards. Course of play. Players and meeples. Animal husbandry. Cultivation. Farmyard and farmyard board. Action spaces, so what each of the action spaces is, and all the different types of actions you can take during the game, and then variants you can do. So I guess it isn't an appendix of the cards, which I'm sure you can get online. And then campaigns, you can do a campaign mode, multiplayer game, and the solo game, which is kind of cool. Scoring in detail. And then unused farm spaces, yeah. So just different things about the game. All right. Here's your stack of cards, which again was like probably twice the size originally. But a lot of the cards that they originally had were kind of useless cards, so they got rid of them and only took the most essential cards and put them in here. Let's see here. Looks like we got a loose card sitting here for some reason. We get the well. So I don't know if this was added. Looks like a major improvement, I think. All right. So you have your plastic bag, which is always good. And here are your Vegemeeples and Animeeples. Well, these are Vegemeeples, I think. So your pumpkins, which represent food. Grain is yellow, and then the reed, which you'll need to build houses. And your clay, which is the brown one there. Yep. So lots of different meeples there. And here are the animals. So you have your horses, you have your sheep course, you have your boar, and then your cows, I think are the other ones. Yeah, cows. So different types of animals. And then here are the player pieces, which we'll separate into bags, but you have your fences, which you build your stables with. And then your, just show you. Originally, these were round discs, but now they actually have some shape to them. I'll show you a couple of these. So these are your meeples, your farmers here. So these are pretty cool. And then the fences right here, and the player colors. So it looks like you have purple, red, yellow, purple, red, blue, and like not white, but tan. I guess tan or wooden color. So, and then you have the yellow disc there, and something. And then we'll go through the cards here, and then all is left is the scoring pad and the game board. So not a ton of components, but enough. All right, so we'll be sleeving these. So they're pretty thin cards. So let me separate these here according to the types. There we go. So these are your major improvements, which will be all the players can choose from. So you have a well and the cost and what it does. So major improvements, fireplace, which enables you to cook food, to cook to get extra, to cook raw food, to get, usable food. So pumpkin gives you 2 food, or vegetable, I should say. Sheep give you 2 food if you cook it in this fireplace. Boar will give you 2 food, and it looks like a cow, I think, gives you 3 food. And you can use the baked bread, action 2, in the fireplace, which every piece of grain gives you 2 food. So these are the regular fireplaces. And then you have your cooking hearth, which is like an upgraded fireplace. It replaces it. Which you can always upgrade the fireplace into the cooking hearth, or just buy it straight out. And the cost is right here. So this one costs you 4 clay to make it. Fireplace is 3 clay. So it kind of makes sense just to go right for the hearth. And so this is more efficient. Gives you more food, more of each type of food. So that's pretty much the basic thing in the cooking hearth. And there's two different cooking hearths. The first player to get it only has to pay 4 clay. The second person has to pay 5. And then you have your basket maker's workshop, which turns reed into food. I think at the end of the game, you can use it during the harvest to create food, or you can use the reed at the end of the game, 2, 4, and 5 for 1, 2, and 3 coins. It looks like, or victory points. Yeah, victory points. And this right here is a clay oven. This is just for baking bread. Very efficient at that. So so it costs 3 clay and 1 stone, which doesn't come out till later in the game. But you can use the wheat to get 5 bread out of it. So very, very efficient. So it's a clay oven. Then you have a stone oven here, which is just, of course, stone. And then you have your joinery, which wood into food. And it has some end game scoring here, pottery. It creates clay into food somehow. And build fences. All right, so these are your actions right here. So you're gonna have certain rounds. So during the first round, you have 3 different possible cards that could come out. So you can build fences, which 1 wood equals 1 fence. Sheep market, you put a sheep down here. So basically, what happened here is each round it'll start with 1 piece of wood, and then each round that it's not taken, it gets an additional piece of wood. So it'll start to accumulate. Same thing with the sheep market, and then the grain utilization, which allows you to sow crops or bake bread, and this allows you to get a major or minor improvement to play one from your hand and pay the cost. So this is this first round also, and then the second round is going to have 3 more actions, and they come out in a different order. Wish for children. This is how you get extra farmers for actions. So it gives you a kid first, and then so it's a basic wish for children, and afterward you can get I think it's a minor improvement there. I'm not sure on that one. This one right here is when the stone comes out. So it comes out in round 2, stone quarry. So this will get 1 stone on it each round. And then house development. This allows you to upgrade your houses from, so you use a reed and a clay to get a clay house, to turn your wooden house into a clay house. And then to turn your clay house into a stone house uses the 1 stone and 1 reed. And then afterward, you can use it to do a major or minor improvement. So this allows you to upgrade the rooms that you have. It doesn't allow you to add extra rooms, but there's another action for that, which I believe is printed on the board. And then, so this is the pig market, which comes out in round 2, which gets your pigs just like the sheep. And then here's vegetable seeds, so it gives you vegetables, vegetable seeds on it that you can either use for food or plant. And then round 4 is your cattle market. So, of course, cattle comes out. And then you have another quarry come out, another stone quarry. And then you have an urgent wish for children. So this one allows you to get a kid without having an extra room. Normally you have to have an extra room for an extra person, but this one you don't have to. And then the other one for round 5 is plow 1 field and or sow. So it allows you to make use of your space. And then right here is another farm redevelopment, which is in round 6. And afterward you can build fences after you do that. Okay, so this allows you to upgrade your houses. And there you go. And those are the basic cards. So there's 6 rounds in the game, only 1 action round 6. Well, 1 round in 6. 1 phase, I should say. And then there's 3 phases for 2 phases for 5, and then 3 for the 2 phases for 4, and then 3 for 3. No, only 2 for 3. So you'll see that once I get to the game board, what that means, what those cards are for. All right. So those are the major improvements and the round cards. And then here you have the occupations. So these are all the different occupations that can come out. And there's a good amount, quite a few amount just in the base game. So animal tamer. When you play this card, you immediately get your choice of 1 wood and 1 grain instead of just 1 animal total. You can keep any 1 animal in each of your room. So they enhance or add to the actions or give you extra stuff. So then you have conservator, and I'm not going to read each one of these, but you'll get the picture. This right here is the amount of players. So this is available in the solo game up, and it's, I guess, an A difficulty or an A deck. Which I think you play with different decks here. So this is the A deck. And then hedge keeper, plow driver, adoptive parents, stable architect, grocer. Yes, this is all the A deck. Mushroom collector, rough caster, wall builder, scythe worker, seasonal worker, woodcutter, firewood collector, clay hut builder, frame builder, priest, braggart, harpooner, stone cutter, very useful, animal dealer, conjurer, lutenist, pig breeder. Okay, so that's all the A's. So it's quite, as you can see, there's quite a few of those. Yep, so the A's, and then this is the B deck right here. Which I think you can mix them too, but at first you probably want to play with one of the other deck. Probably start with the A deck first and then try the B deck. So this is the cottager, the groom, assistant, tiller, master bricklayer, scholar, organic farmer, tutor. Hey, there we are. During scoring, you get 1 bonus point for each occupation played after this one. So this is good to play early. Consultant, sheep walker, manservant, oven firing boy, paper maker. Sorry for the little shadow here. Childless. If you have at least 3 rooms with only 2 people, you get 1 food and crop. So that's interesting. Small scale farmer. So they all have different strategies and uses for these cards. Geologist, roof baluster, carpenter, house steward, greengrocer, brushwood collector. These are the minor improvements. Storehouse keeper, pastor. Here we go. Once you are the only player to live in a house with only 2 rooms, you immediately get 3 wood, 1 clay, 1 reed, and 1 stone. Only player to live in a house with only 2. Oh, so if everybody else has got more than 2 rooms and you only have 2 rooms. So obviously this one right here you can only use in a 4-player game. So I think a lot of these right here are ones you can only use in 4-player or 3-player games. Some of them are 1 player, but Yeah, it's either 1, 3, or 4. So, yeah. Okay. So those are the cards. And then you have your scoring pad here. Just might be a little difficult to see. Yeah, it's a little dark, sorry. But you score in your field tiles, your pastures, your grain, vegetables, sheep, wild boar, cattle, unused farmyard spaces, that's negative numbers, fence stables, clay rooms, stone rooms, people, and bonus points. And then the board right here, which is pretty thick and meaty, and the board is actually wrapped in plastic, which is kind of something interesting you don't usually see. But so the board is going to come in sections here, I believe. And there's not really much to punch out in this game, but except for like this right here. So this right here are how you score the game, and depending upon what your player count is, this is a 2-player game, what each thing scores in, and it's pretty handy dandy here. So let's see, I'll do it sideways right here. So the first thing right here is if you have, these are your fields, and if you have 0 fields, you get negative 1 point. 0 to 1 fields. If you have 2 fields, you get 2 points. 3 fields, you get 2 points. 4 fields, you get 3 points. And 5+ fields, you get 4 points. And then same thing here. If you have no vegetables or no grain, you get negative 1 points. If you have 1, you get 1. If you have 4 to 5 or 2, respectively, of grain and vegetables, you get 2 points, and so forth. And the sheep, same thing. So obviously, if you get nothing of them, you get negative 1 points, and then it goes up as far as you go. But you're going to want to try to build it evenly, at least have 1 of everything, if you can, which isn't always that easy to do. And then at the end of the game, -1 for your fields that you don't have, and then 1 point for each room in your house in a wood house, 2 points in a clay house, and 3 points. I don't know where it says that. No, maybe not. Then it's 1 point per stable, 3 points per meeple, and then whatever you have in your cards. So I'm not sure exactly what that is. I think it's per room. Yeah, so 1 point per room, and then you'll get extra points per. So maybe you don't get any per wooden house. I think this might be 1 point for a clay house, and 2 points for clay room, and 2 points for a stone room, and then for each stone room. Yeah, that might be it. I'm pretty sure that is what it is. So that's in the 2-player game. And then in the solo game, changes up a little bit. And then, but it's fairly similar, I think. It might be different amount. Yeah, I think it might be different amounts right here, possibly, on some of the stuff. Possibly, I haven't really looked at it. And then you have your 3-player variant, 4-player, sorry. And then, so you can see in a 3 or 4-player game, you get extra. A 4-player game, you get extra stuff that you can do. And then these are for a 3-player game. So depending upon the player count, the scoring is a little bit different, and the available rooms are a little different. Available spots. All right, and then here is the main game board, which I'll show you right here. So it's right here. So this is basically the puzzle piece is going to go on the side here. So these are your basic actions right here. Your farm expansions, your meeting place, grain seeds, farmland, locations, and then these right here, you get extra actions because you get more players that'll attach right here. The solo one doesn't have any, so that'll attach there. So a nice board. And like I was saying, that round 1, you'll get 1 action. Round 2, you're going to have, stages. So the stages, I should have showed those numbers on the backs of the cards were stages. So round 1 has just 1 stage. Round 2 has 3 stages. Round 3 has, wait a second. No, 4, okay. It's basically what I said, just different. They just use different terminology. So basically, and it has to do with the harvesting is what it is. So round 1, you'll get there's only 1 stage. Round 2 is going to get 1 stage. Round 3 will get 1 stage. Round 4 will get 1 stage, and then after that there'll be a harvest. So it's round 1 and then round 4 will be the harvest, and then 5, 6, and 7. So the 1s come out here, the 2s come out here, the 3s come out here, 4s, 5, 6, and 7, or something like that. But anyway, they're all the same number in these. So these 3 all get shuffled together and they come out in different order. And then these 3 will get shuffled, they come out in different order. So there'll be a harvest after round 4, after round 7. And then here, it occurs after only 2 more rounds, after round 9, after round 11, around 13. And then the last round is only, 1 stage right here to it. But anyway, yeah, so that's the stage. So the stage is basically, so stage 1 is all 4 of these, then is a harvest. And then stage 2 is these 3, then is a harvest. Stage 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, so that's it. Anyway, it's basically what I said, just in a little different terminology. So that is the game board there. And then the back is just some landscape. So there. And then here are your player boards. Let's see right here. So you'll put your house in these 2 spaces right here to start off with. And then you build your fences and your pens for your animals and your fields and everything on this. So it's pretty cool. I guess it goes this way probably. Doesn't really matter. You can do it this way, that way, whichever way you want to. But I think it may be this way. This is for the yellow player. No, actually it's not for the yellow player. So they're not color coordinated for each player. So it looks like they're double-sided. But I think they're the same on both sides. I believe they're the same. Yeah, they're the same on both sides, I think. I'm not sure, but I think it's just a little bit of different scenery on either side. So these are the player boards. So you get 4 of those. And there's some stuff to punch out, of course. So these are your wooden rooms right here, which you'll punch out. And then I guess you can use these for meeples if you want to. If you don't want to use the wooden ones, you can use these, maybe. And then there's little couple pieces of food on there. And these are the backs of them. So these can also be fields. And the mail side, if you want to use the mail side. And then here are, these might be groups of resources you can use as that. So in case you want to use them as groups of like 5. Yeah, it looks like groups of 5 resources each. So you don't have to use all those tons of meeples. And there's more food tokens here. And then I think these are the clay rooms, I want to say. And then these are the stone rooms right here. Yeah, clay and stone are opposite sides of each other. And then here, it looks like you got a couple different other action spaces right here. Right here, there you go. And then same thing for the food, the 5 tokens for the food. And more other 5 tokens. And then more huts and stuff. And then this right here is, these are where all the major improvements are going. So the major improvements will be the same, I think, every game. Yeah, it looks like they are. And then these are where you put the major improvement cards, which anybody can purchase during the course of the game. But again, there's limited supply. There's only a couple fireplaces, a couple stone hearts, so only 1 well. So they kind of first come, first serve. So it's important to get these early if you can, because there'll be a lot of fighting, especially in the 3 and 4 player game. A lot of fighting over certain buildings and stuff like that. And not everybody will be able to get one. So you have to change your strategy. So there you go. So that is it. And it's what's inside the box here. No insert or anything, which is kind of sad. But and I forgot 1 deck here. These are so these might be your minor improvements here. Yeah. Or more minor improvements. Yeah, I think these are more minor. So those are occupations, and the dark red were improvements. And yeah, these are still occupations, and these are your minor improvements right here. So immediately plow 1 field. So they're kind of smaller actions. They're not as much. So I think this may cost 2 food to play, possibly. Not sure exactly, but so these are the A deck again. So I think there's A and B deck. Yep. And you have your shifting cultivation, clay embankment, young animal market, drinking trial. That's a really good one, where it helps you to, each of your pastures with or without a stable can hold 2 more animals. So it allows you to basically double your, not double, but add 2 more animals to each pasture. It'll double it if it's a single space pasture, but otherwise it just adds 2 more animals, which can come in handy because they will breed. So room rammed clay, so you immediately get a clay, and you can use clay instead of wood to build fences. So that's allows you to use your resource a little differently. Hand plow, threshing board, sleeping corner, manger, big country, wool blankets. Yeah, so they have certain conditions you have to have. So this one, you have to have exactly 2 occupations played. So you got to watch when you play these cards. They have to have certain conditions to be met, some of them. This one doesn't. Milk jug, clay pipe, junk room, basket, Dutch windmill, corn scoop. Each time you use the grain seeds action space, you get additional grain. So that can be helpful for food. Large greenhouse. This one, you have to have 2 occupations played. And these don't have player counts on them right here. I think anyone can use these. At most 3 occupations, so you can't have more than a certain amount. Canoe, 1 occupation. And then some of these are worth victory points. This one's worth 1. Stone tongs is a good one. Sometimes each time you use a stone accumulation space, you get an additional stone. So stone can be very tight, so that can be very good to get. Shepherd's crook. And then you have your B cards, which are a little harder, I think. Mini pasture. Market stall, caravan, carpenter's parlor, mining hammer, moldboard plow, lasso, so that helps with the cattle, bread pile, immediately get 1 more food, and each occupation you play, you get an additional baked bread action, so that's cool. Mantelpiece, bottles, and this is worth 4 victory points at the end too, so that can be very good just to pick up for the victory points. For each person you have, you must pay an additional 1 clay and 1 food to play this card. Yeah, so this is primarily so this is the cost right here, and it shows it right here. But this is worth 4 victory points at the end. That's why it costs a little bit. So it's primarily a victory point card. Loom helps you during harvesting with your sheep, with the wool. Strawberry patch, 1 food in each of the next 3 rounds. So herring pot, butter churn, brook, scullery, 3-field rotation, pitchfork, sack cart, bean field, thick forest, loam pit, hand porcelain, acorns basket, and then the 8 cards. So I didn't see one called the Grow, so that must have either been in the original game or it's in one of the expansions, but that's a game where you stack a whole bunch of different items and then you pay food each round to get one of them, or each turn, or at not even during a turn at any time. So I don't think that might have been either one of the expansions or one of the original cards that's not in this set. I'd like to pick up the original game just to see what other cards are in it, because I like when you have, even if they're useless cards, I just kind of like seeing what kind of cards they are. But yeah, so that must have been either in the original game, because I think the guy I watched playing it had an original copy of the game in 2007 or earlier than this one, not the revised edition. So there are some reasons to get the revised edition if you just want to see what other possible cards are in it, or to give you a little bit more variety. But I think this gives you definitely enough variety in gameplay. So definitely looking forward to get this one on the table. We're definitely going to play it this weekend. Yeah, so that's it. So that's Agricola Revised Edition by Lookout Games and Rosenberg. So thank you for joining me. It's been Eric from High Ground Gaming. Happy Thanksgiving if you're watching this during Thanksgiving time, and definitely a good game to play during the Thanksgiving time. To be thankful for board games, among many, many other things. It's all right. So take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye now.